Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar of Mindfulness in the Age of AI. I hope you all are doing well. In today's webinar, we'll understand that how AI, who is actually expanding in all the areas, whether it's in the practical aspect or in the theoretical aspect, how the AI is affecting the mindfulness of our all. In today's session, we'll understand that how the mindfulness is actually most crucial component and becoming so expensive in today's time. So, what is changing in today's time? If you see at large, we are not changing from inside. It is something that is pressurizing us to change our moves. So, the first question here is what is happening with the awareness that we all are actually exercising from past so many decades? We are not losing our mindfulness because we got busy, but we lost somewhere in this whole ecosystem where the system is actually making us to be occupied, or it is actually creating the whole ecosystem. And because of that, the engagement has become that stressful that we are losing our mindfulness in this current age. Now, the whole point here is how AI is quietly dismantling our mindfulness. It's not an enemy which can be removed, but it's a technology that needs to be used with a very specific mindset. Now, what is changing? Let's understand first. It is replacing the reflections that we used to have in past with the predictions. Although predictions are very important and very niche, but then again, it doesn't carry that much of power that a reflection has. Also, it rewards more to the speed rather than the presence. It is also converting more inefficiencies into the practices. Now, in the AI world, we all are actually suffering from the concepts like FOMO, the concepts like predictions or the prediction inefficiencies. It is very important for us to understand that at core, what has actually changed. So let's have a contrast when we say AI or pre-AI era and post-AI era. With this AI, we are not deciding anymore. We are accepting the recommendation that was generated by the systems. The systems where we as a humans are only giving prompts. It is also affecting the focus because now we are more into responding to the prompts that was created by the systems, by the humans, or written by the humans. Also, in this today's time, we are more into scrolling rather than reflecting on the knowledge that we are discovering on a daily basis. Also, one more thing that you might have learned and you might have listening in today's time is the so-called optimization. So when it becomes optimized, somewhere we have actually forgotten to take a pause before reflecting on something which is actually coming with a very exponential pace. Now, every technology takes or brings a new, you can say, measure of functioning or the operation, but it also comes with a cost. And if we precisely understand what cost we are paying, if we are not using AI with the right mind, it is something which is very not, you can say, it is not something that we can need to place. The first cost that we are actually paying is the ethical blind spot in the automated decision. We are using AI for our convenience. But then again, it is based on so many compromise that we are doing on a daily basis or the ethical compromises that we are doing on the daily basis. The next one is the thinking. Just imagine a world where we as a human stop using our own brain and then depending totally on the artificial intelligence. Somewhere, somehow, we will go into shallow thinkings. The emotional disconnect. In today's time, we all talk about the emotional disconnect and burnout, which is very important to actually discuss. The last, we are very much absent-minded, mostly at our workplaces. So, to understand all these things and to take all these questions, today we have with us Mr. Lama Yeshe, who is a Buddhist monk from England. He is also a Buddhist practitioner and has learned the things with the 14th Dalai Lama. With his practical approach and his wisdom, has actually make the learnings, or you can say the ancient learnings, more relevant in today's time. So rather than wasting more time, I invite Lama Yeshe to work and to throw some wisdom that how in today's time, when the AI is capturing the whole world, how we as a human, we can actually use these technologies with a very mindful approach.
So thank you so much and namaste, everybody. So before I begin the presentation, I want to just do a quick experiment with you. So for the next 60 seconds, I want you just to listen to the sounds around you. So maybe you can hear the hum of your computer, maybe you can hear distant traffic, or maybe just your breathing. So the best way to do this is to close your eyes. And I don't want you to label sounds. I don't want you to say they're good, they're bad, it's a dog barking or whatever it is. I just want you to sit there and allow those sounds to come to you and then go. So let's just do this for 60 seconds. So sit comfortable, lightly close your eyes, and just listen to whatever sounds you can hear. Okay, so now just slowly start to open your eyes. So what you just did was directing and holding your attention on purpose. And that is the very core of what we're going to be talking about today, about mindfulness or awareness. So we're going to be looking at exactly what mindfulness is and why it's a crucial mental health skill in the time of AI. We'll look at how AI specifically is shaping our attention, our thoughts, and our stress levels. And then we'll finish off by looking at three different simple science backed mindfulness techniques that you can use anywhere, anytime. So let's just start off by defining what mindfulness is. Now, in a moment, you'll see that there will be a link to a session. So, and in this link, if it's a 1 minute video, you can watch it on the Round Glass Living app. And it just shows you by paying attention in nature, it not only gives us focus, calms us down, but we have gratitude as well. So hopefully that link will soon come into the chat. So what is mindfulness? So mindfulness is about paying attention in the present moment now, what is going on right now. So you may think that I'm always in the now. I'm always thinking now. But actually, that's not true. A lot of what we do on autopilot. We do from our subconscious mind. When we're doing things from the subconscious minds, it means we cannot make good, clear choices because we're not thinking from the conscious mind. So mindfulness is about bringing ourselves back into the present moment. A lot of our time we are projecting, we're looking ahead and, oh, this will happen, or that might happen, or won't happen. Or we're looking back to the past and we keep living and rehashing what has already gone. So mindfulness brings us back into what is happening right at this moment. Why is that important? It's important because when we're in the present moment, we're aware of what's going on. We're aware of our thought process, which means then we can change that if it's a negative thought process. We're aware of our emotions, which means that we can start to deal with those emotions instead of letting the emotions take over us. And it means that we're aware of our body. So we check in with our body. We can see what is our body telling us. Whenever we have an emotion, there is a sensation relating to that emotion somewhere in our body. We forget about our bodies and we spend a lot of our day up here in our minds. But your bodies can tell you so much. Even the word mindfulness may give you the wrong impression that we're talking about something up here. So when we're being mindful, we're aware of the thoughts, the emotions, and the body sensations, and we're aware of what is happening in this immediate environment. It doesn't mean that when we're being mindful that the sun will shine and birds will sing and everybody will be happy. That would be lovely. That's not realistic. So sometimes when we come back to the present moment, it's not a particularly good moment. But because we're being mindful, because we're there with it, it means that we can now make good conscious choices. So when AI takes us off into scrolling heaven and we lose track of time and we lose our focus, mindfulness is a practice that can bring us back. But it's like a muscle. It needs to be trained. We can't be 24/7 mindful. We do have those wonderful abilities to think for the future and look back at our memories. So we can never be 100% mindful, but we need to be more mindful. And particularly in the world of AI, when it is taking over our thinking, we need to be more mindful. Technology is not going to slow down. So we have to take control and slow our thinking down and bring our focus and our awareness back. So it's like building a muscle. The more that you do the practice, the more that muscle, that mindful muscle will grow. So think of awareness as a torch, as a spotlight. Normally, that spotlight will be pulled by external triggers. So maybe a ping of your phone, or maybe an AI generated news alert, or just maybe, stress or anxiety. So mindfulness is you learning to take the handle of that torch, that spotlight, and aim it at yourself. So that's a great place to build awareness is in nature, as I mentioned at the beginning there. And on the Round Glass Living app, I have a practice called Observe Nature's Miracles. Again, it is going to help you to understand mindfulness, and it will help to build that mindfulness muscle. So when you finish, please don't look at these things now. When you finish, then have a look at them and go through them, and it will help you to understand mindfulness. So that's what mindfulness is. But why do we, especially now, need to train this mindfulness muscle? So AI isn't just a tool anymore. AI is part of our whole environment. It's like the water that we swim in these days. It is in everything that we do, in every walk of life now. So, and it is designed to be compelling. It's designed to trap us. So there are many reasons why that we need mindfulness more than ever in this AI world. I just want to give you three simple examples here. So the first example is that infinite scrolling. So I'm sure we've all done it. We've had a few moments, so we thought we'd have a look at reels on Instagram and we're flicking through them. And before we know where we are, our focus has gone. So that the AI algorithms are learning what you engage with, and then they're feeding that back to you to hold your attention. So if you look at a reel of a dog or a cat or something and you spend time on there and maybe look at it twice, then that algorithm now knows, oh, you like dogs and cats. So it's going to bombard you with that. So when that happens, maybe we've taken a 5 minute study break and we thought we'd just pick up the phone for 5 minutes, have a little break. And before we know it, 45 minutes has gone. And you look up and you think, oh, where did my focus go? Where did all this time go? So in this instance, mindfulness helps you notice that. It helps you to understand, oh, I'm being pulled into this infinite scrolling here. So then you can decide to put the phone down. But if you're not being present, if you're not being mindful, then you will constantly keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So one of the reasons why mindfulness is so important at the moment is for that reason, to help you with that infinite scrolling. There's another reason that we need to use mindfulness, and that's the comparison engine. So it means we are comparing. So maybe you'll see this AI polished influencer post that looks fantastic. Or maybe you have a look at your friend's ChatGPT assisted essay and you think, wow, that is perfect. Or maybe at a stunning AI generated photo on Instagram or on TikTok. So that can trigger your comparison because you start to look and you start to think that these people are more productive than me. They're more creative than me. They're smarter. They dress better. They've got more money. All of those things are going to bring on anxiety because we start to worry that everybody else out there is richer and smarter and more creative than I am, which is not true because a lot of that work is being done by AI. All they're doing is just utilizing AI. But in our mind, we start comparing. And when we start comparing, that is when everything starts to go wrong with us and we start to get anxious. So mindfulness here just creates that pause. It creates that moment, that break, and it lets you observe those feelings of inadequacy without believing them. So you can recognize, yeah, this is a feeling arising in me. This comparison is just a feeling. It's not the ultimate truth. So again, when we are scrolling, when we're looking at social media, or when we're reading ChatGPT essays and whatever, it means that we can pause a moment if we're being mindful and we can understand, okay, this, what I'm looking at here, is not the real world. And the third example that I want to talk about is that blurring of lines between thinking and searching. So when we're faced with a difficult thought or we've got some sort of creative block, these days our first instinct is often to look at ChatGPT or anything similar to that, or we Google it. So what we're doing is we are outsourcing our internal processes there. Instead of us taking the time to think, We outsource that thinking. And now AI is taking over our thinking. That is going to rob us of two vital psychological processes. One is tolerating discomfort, and the other is creative incubation. So those boring moments that we think are boring, where we can't look, we just go straight to ChatGPT or Google because we want them to do. What is doing that? It's taking away our insight. It's taking away our focus, our way of thinking. So let's just briefly look at those two things here. So then, tolerating discomfort. That is about remaining present and composed, even when you're facing up to those unpleasant or the feelings and thoughts and situations. So instead of immediately seeking distraction or relief from those things, it's an important mental skill. It's going to allow you to handle stress better. So we need that, discomfort, to tolerate that discomfort. Because if we don't, if we're just all the time jumping to the AI to solve our problems, then again, we are outsourcing our life to a machine. Even though a machine may be created by humans, it is still a machine here. And the other is that creative incubation. So that's a process where your mind unconsciously works on a problem or an idea during those periods of rest or boredom. So I'm sure that all of us have had a problem and we can't seem to sort that problem out, and we stop thinking about it, and all of a sudden, oh, that comes into our mind. When we sit down, and today, most people, and particularly the young generation, if they just sit down with nothing to do, they say, oh, boring. But boring is good. Boring is where we can be creative. Boring is where our minds really start to work. So if we don't allow ourselves to have those periods, if we just jump in to Googling or to AI chatbots and things like this, then it's going to take away our ability to actually have those moments where the unconscious mind works on those problems for us. These idle moments can really often lead to good insights and creative breakthroughs. A lot of inventions have come from people sitting, being bored with nothing to do. So the mental health stakes are high here. You can see they're just a few. There are more reasons why mindfulness is important, but they're just three of the key factors that I think that we can all understand, that we've all gone through over the last few years. So the mental health stakes are really high here. Without presence, we live in a state of chronic reactivity. We're reacting all the time. Instead of thinking and responding, we're just blindly reacting. That is going to bring on anxiety. It's going to help burnout and getting overwhelmed, and even a sense of emptiness inside of us. With mindfulness, what we're doing is we're responding. So it's the space between the trigger and the action. So let me just explain this to you. So we have a trigger, and then we have an action. When we are being not mindful, when we're being unmindful, we have the trigger. We just react. We react from our subconscious mind. So then afterwards, the awareness comes in. So when we do that, when we're not being mindful, we're not even aware of the actions we're doing. We're not consciously thinking of what we're doing. So maybe just take this as an example, that somebody shouts at you. And because you've always shouted back, you just shout back. And then your awareness comes in and you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have shouted. When we're being mindful, we have that same trigger. But because we're being mindful, there is a pause. And then after that pause, we respond, not react, respond. In that pause, that is your awareness. That is your ability to change. But we can only do that if we're being mindful. So mindfulness stops us being reactive, which we find ourselves reacting a lot from social media posts and WhatsApp messages. So when on X and on WhatsApp, people react and they send a message straight back without thinking. So when we're being mindful, it gives us that opportunity to think. So that's why it's important to have mindfulness as a practice. So let's look at 3 mindfulness practices here now. So the first one practice is called the 90-second body scan. This is going to stop us getting overwhelmed. So when we have a strong emotion, so maybe we're stressed or maybe there's a deadline coming up, then our body gets flooded with chemicals. That chemical surge only lasts 90 seconds. So this practice is going to help us once we get triggered by some sort of strong emotion. We can do this practice. So when you're stressed, when you're anxious, or when you're feeling just distracted, you can't focus, just pause a moment. You close your eyes and you just, for the next 90 seconds, scan your body from the top of your head, slowly all the way down to your toes. And you ask yourself, where do I feel this stress? Or where do I feel this overwhelm? Is it in my shoulders? Is there a knot in my stomach? Is it giving me a headache or a buzzing in my head? So don't try to change anything here. We are just observing those physical sensations with curiosity. It's just like, okay, this is where I'm feeling it. After 90 seconds, that intense wave, more times than not, just passes. You've just felt the feeling without letting that feeling hijack you. It's just a very, very simple practice. So let's just do this practice a moment. So I hope that you're not stressed and anxious at the moment, but if you can just sit a moment quietly, close your eyes and think of the last time you were a little bit stressed, and then come down your body, just scan slowly down your body for 90 seconds. After those 90 seconds, you've pulled yourself away from that stress and anxiety, and you're able to think more clearly. So then just sit quietly in your chair, think of something that has stressed you, allow that emotion to come up, and then start scanning from the top of your head slowly, slowly down, asking yourself, where am I holding this? Where can I feel this in my body? And remember, don't change it or judge it. It's just about bringing awareness. Okay, so slowly open your eyes. So that wasn't exactly 90 seconds, but we don't have a lot of time, but it gives you an idea. So remember, when you get that chemical imbalance, it only lasts for 90 seconds unless you keep thinking about that problem and that stress, and it will keep going and keep going and keep going. So when we realize that we have this stress, this anxiety, then do this 90 second. It breaks that 90 seconds. And then you're back in the present moment and you're able to think more clearly. So the right time to do this before you open a difficult email, or maybe on social media when you're feeling stressed and anxious, or when you're feeling some frustration coming up in you. So if your anxiety continues after this, I have a wonderful practice on the Round Glass Living app, and that's called Relaxing in the Clouds. And it's a great way to relax you, it takes you off to a beautiful, tranquil place. So it's called Relaxing in the Clouds. And hopefully the link will come up in your chat. Again, please don't look at it yet, but keep it for afterwards. So the second practice I want to talk about is the observe, don't absorb. So this is about being a mental filter. So observe, don't absorb. So this practice is designed to build that crucial psychological buffer between you and that constant stream of information. We're getting bombarded with, whether it's AI chatbot or social media feed, or whether it's just anxious thoughts going into our head. So there's different steps in this process. It's a 3-step process. So the first step is about observing. So this is the what. What is the literal message here? What is being stated or suggested? So we take a deep breath, and then we look at that content, and we look at it and see, what is the message here? What is being stated? What is being suggested here? It means observing. It's getting to know the what. Try to summarize it in one type of neutral sentence. So whether it's a news headline or whether it's something you're reading on X, so you can say that this headline or this X post is triggering a feeling of anxiety in me. So what we're doing here is we're learning exactly what's going on. We're objectifying the content. We're creating space between the content and you. So the first one is to observe the content, objectify it, so you have a gap, so you can understand it. Then the next step is about observing your reaction to that. So this is about the hook. What has hooked us? Because, I mean, most of AI now have these algorithms that are hooking us. So what is the hook here? So now we shift our attention inwards. So the first part is looking outwards, looking at the content. Now we're looking inwards. So, and we scan our mind with curiosity. So what is it? What is this doing to me? So you've looked at the content. What is that content doing to you? What does it make you feel? So is it making you feel, convinced that you're not intelligent enough? Is it making you confused? Is it making you doubtful? What is it doing? Is it sparking anxiety or insecurity? Or is it actually inspiring you and giving you awe? Do I feel a tightness in my chest or a desire to act immediately? So by simply naming it, I notice a feeling of inadequacy, or I feel my body starting to tense up. We simply name it. This step identifies how the content is landing in your system. It's giving you back the power. So we've looked at the content. Now we've looked at how we respond. Now the most important part, are we going to absorb it or are we going to release it? So to absorb it, we decide this is useful or this is true or this is valuable to me. So I'll integrate it in my knowledge. So then you decide that you want to take it. It doesn't just come in automatically. You decide, I'm going to observe it. So you're actively choosing to let it in, or you release it. So this is not useful to me right now. It's biased or it's not aligned with my goals. It's triggering me. So I let it pass. So here you're actively choosing not to let it occupy your mental space. It's giving you back the power to choose. That's so important. And the last practice is single tasking awareness. So this is so important. Our brains are not built for multitasking. This word, multitasking, is just a word. We can only think of one thing at once. And if you are trying to do 4 or 5 things at once, you are just putting yourself under a huge amount of pressure. And AI encourages fragmentation. It encourages this. So mindfulness is the antidote. So how do we do it? So just say, this is just an example. You're studying. I think most of you are students. So say you're studying. So you set a timer for 25 minutes and you sit down and you're going to read a chapter or you're going to write a paper. Put your phone in another room. Put it away so you can't get close to it. If you're on your laptop, close all those irrelevant browser tabs. Just keep open what you want. Now, even during this 25 minutes of focusing, your mind will wander. It's okay. But each time you notice that it's drifted off, maybe you're thinking about what I'm going to do tonight or other thoughts, just gently, remember I said about mindfulness being the awareness being that torch, then just bring that torch back onto yourself. Spotlight your attention back on single tasking. When the timer goes off, take a proper 5 minute break, a stretch, look around, not social media. Don't go back onto social media because then you're wasting your time again. This is training you to have attention. It's training that mindfulness muscle to pay attention in the direction that you want it to be, not fragmented, not, being dragged into that digital world. So we can do this during those dedicated study times. Again, we need to build that mindfulness muscle. So let's just have a quick recap here. So mindfulness is about training that mental muscle, the mindfulness muscle, to be present in the moment. We have to build up our awareness. We have so many distractions from AI that we need to keep bringing ourselves back into the present moment. We need it now more than ever because the AI environment is designed to capture our attention. It's designed to trap us in that field of reactivity and comparison, which is going to bring stress and anxiety. Think about the 3 practices we've looked at, the 90-second body scan, the we scan our body, takes us away from those strong emotions. Observe, don't absorb. So again, have a look at it. Do we want to absorb that or do we want to let it go? And single tasking is a great way to build our focus. So none of this is meant to add to your to-do list. It's not meant to give you more work to do. It's about changing your relationships with the list, your to-do list that you already have. So it's about being a thinker, not just a consumer of your thoughts. So don't allow those algorithms to take you off. Be more mindful, be more present, and you will feel focused, you'll feel aware, and you'll feel so much better. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. And now I think we'll have a Q&A session.
Thank you, Lama Yeshe, for sharing this wisdom with all of us. And as you rightly mentioned, that we should not allow any technology to ambush our mindfulness. Just want to understand here, and I hope our audience is also very curious to understand this, that how consciously we can keep ourselves in that training mode that we cannot allow this ecosystem to actually affect us, right? Because you have taken one example that we should keep our mobile phone or smart gadget away from us for at least 25 minutes. But then the whole expectation of the world, and especially the workplaces, is actually making us to pick these gadgets, devices very often, right? And which is something which is a hindrance in this practice. So, what suggestion you want to give to our audience that they can consciously practice the way that you have mentioned or you have suggested?
Yeah, so I think we have to build it into our life. So I think that when you get up in the morning, don't look for the first 30 minutes or so. There is a digital detox there. Before you go to bed at night, you can look at it 30 minutes before you go to bed. There's another detox. When you're eating, so we have 3 meals a day, say it's half an hour each meal. Don't look at the phone while you're eating. Be mindful, focus on your food. There's another 1.5 hours. So don't take the phone into the washroom with you. These are all times where, now we're just eating, we're looking, we wake up in the morning, the first thing we do before we go to bed, we're looking through reels. So we can find, I understand that technology is here and particularly work. They want you to be, always online, always able to answer emails. But there are times when we can digitally detox. We can find those time. If you can start to find, the odd half an hour throughout the day, you're going to feel so much better for it. We can't we can't pull away from AI. It's there. We can't pull away from these smartphones. They're there. So we have to be able to be the ones that use them sensibly ourselves. You can't expect X and Facebook and Instagram to allow you to use them sensibly. It's not in their algorithms. It's not what they're looking for. They're trying to trap you. So we have to be the ones that think about it carefully and find time in the day where we can pull ourselves away from this. We'll feel so much better when we do that.
Yeah, I think that's a very wise suggestion. And this is a really high time, right? That we should all, and again, that includes us also, to actually practice the digital detox. One thing I think the audience is also interested to understand, that you mentioned about the insecurities that the current generation is actually facing. They feel that if they are not using AI that much, they are not smart enough. They are not performing up to the standards that the society has set. So
Mm.
how, especially the younger generation, they can actually cope up? So although you have mentioned about three practices, I'm pretty sure they are more productive in nature. But then again, what is your advice to the newer generation? How they can actually cope up with these kind of a insecurity that is happening because they are not using, or they are feeling that they are not using more AI into their daily lifestyles?
Yeah, I think they're under huge pressure. I mean, we are older, so we know a time before AI, before smartphones. These people have been born with this, and you're right, they're under huge pressure to, do AI and put filters on their photos and do all these type of things. I think that they need to think carefully. Again, like I said earlier on, technology is not going to slow down. It's not. But, for our brains to catch up to technology will take millions of years. Yeah. Our brains go very slowly. So, what I would say is that they need to think carefully that am I outsourcing the whole time? Because every time I outsource, I stop my thinking process. And if I'm outsourcing absolutely everything, I'm just going to become dumb. I'm not going to be intelligent. So it's a personal thing, and they need to think carefully about just how much that they are using that AI. Use it when they need it. Use it for their purpose. Don't let AI tell them when they should be using it. Don't let your algorithms tell you should be doing this. We need to take back control. We can use it. I use it. I use AI. I'm sure you use AI, and most of the people watching here use AI. But we need to use it for our benefit. It should be there to benefit us. It shouldn't be there to control us. And we need to think about that very carefully, about how it's starting to control us and not necessarily benefit us.
Exactly. And even I also echo your line that we should take back the control. And that will only happen when we start training the muscle. As you have given us a very wonderful understanding about the mindfulness that is not only just a trait, but it's a muscle that need to be trained on a very daily basis. Once again, thank you very much, Lama Yeshe, for sharing the wisdom with all of us. Um,
You're welcome.
And thank you so much, everybody, for staying us till the end. Today's conversation around mindfulness in the age of AI reminds us of something important. While technology is evolving rapidly, our ability to understand ourselves, others, and the world around us matters more than ever. If today's session sparked curiosity about psychology, human behavior, or even how AI is shaping our lives, we want to help you take the next step without pressure. That's why we are offering something special to everyone here today. You can explore two university design courses from OP Jindal Global University completely free. This is a chance to experience the learning, understand the subject deeply, and then decide whether a full degree is right for you. You can choose between artificial intelligence, which helps you understand the AI buzz beyond the buzzwords, or introduction to psychology, where you explore how humans think, feel, and behave. Both courses are designed by university faculty, hosted on Coursera, and taught in the way that's accessible even if you're a beginner. What makes this especially valuable in that these aren't just sample classes. You will receive a certificate of completion, and if you later choose to pursue a degree, the coursework counts towards your degree learning as well. So you're not just exploring, you're already moving forward. After this webinar, you will receive an email with a redemption link in a simple step to access these courses. Please make sure to check your inbox and spam folder just in case. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now, I'll also help you understand an overview about these courses and how this will help you in the long term. If AI feels overwhelming or intimidating, this course is designed to change that. If you learn how AI is applied in the real world, understand concepts like decision trees and neural networks, and build the confidence without needing a technical background. Next slide, please. For those thinking long term, this AI course can also be a pathway into MBA in business analytics, a program built for professionals who want to lead in an AI driven world. It's a powerful option if you're looking to combine technology, data, and leadership. On the psychology side, this course helps you understand human behavior, emotions, motivation, and ethics, which are increasingly important skills in today's workplaces, communities, and personal lives. This course can also count towards the BSc, Bachelor's of Psychology, Bachelor's of Science in Psychology, opening doors to careers in mental health, UX, HR, research, and more, all grounded in purpose and impact. What we love about these pathway is that it lets you move from exploration to expertise at your own pace with clarity and confidence. Starting a MOOC or a course means you don't have to commit blindly. You explore the subject, learn from the real faculty, understand the workload, then make an informed decision. It's learning designed around you. So, as we close today, I invite you to take this small but meaningful step. Access your free courses, start learning at your own pace, see where it leads. Your learning journey truly starts here. Thank you so much for joining today's session. I wish you all very best.